All right, Tracy, I sent that over.
Okay, just waiting on it to come through. All right, I have it posted. Let me go verify that it's working. Okay, y'all are good to go.
All right, great. Good morning. A meeting of the Louisiana State Board of Medical Examiners Occupational Therapy Advisory Committee pursuant to lawful notice is duly convened and called to order at 10:04 a.m. on Friday, November 14th, 2025 via Zoom virtual video. Please note any comments by the public are welcome and can be emailed to publiccomment@lsbme.la.gov. Dr. Van, please confirm that you have verified the identity of all tele and video conference participants.
Yes, ma'am, we have.
Is the sound clear and audible to the public and those on tele and video conference?
It's my knowledge it is, ma'am.
Okay. All additions to the executive or public agenda must be made presently, as we will no longer make additions to the agenda after the close of the public session. I'm now going to review. Speaking of the agenda, there is an executive session I saw, and that's not on the agenda, but will be, because I didn't know about it and when I sent the agenda items, but we will. I think we should add that in.
Okay, so you just need to, if you want to make that motion and have it seconded, and it requires a unanimous vote, please.
Okay. I was just trying to look first at where would be the best place to do it. Guess we ought to make sure we get that done early, maybe after approving the minutes, do you recommend? And after welcoming the OTAC members, perhaps?
Or now, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I mean,
Okay.
call the roll first.
All right, I will, okay, you want me to call the roll before making the motion?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. I'm going to review the mission of OTAC. The mission of OTAC is ultimately to protect the public, i.e. the consumers of occupational therapy, by regulating competent practice and upholding the standards set forth by the governing rules and regulations. Members present are as follows: Raylena Crooks, Carolyn Murphy, Amy Lariviere, Kathleen Norcross, Mary Green Keys, and Kimberly Solari. I am assuming that our members that don't start till January are not technically members yet. Is that correct? Or should I list them as members?
Correct. We're gonna have them sworn in at the meeting after January 1.
Okay. All right. So I'm not going to list them right now. And Kim. Dr. Van, usually I would ask Glenn, but he's not on. Dr. Van, do we have a quorum? We have 7 members present.
You have a quorum.
We can confirm that. Also present are Jacinta Duhu, Tracy Morrow, Patricia Wilton, Executive Counsel, Colin Hernandez, future member, Whitney Roden, future member, Angela Boudreau, license analyst, April Payton, future member, Phyllis Johnson from licensing, and Lawenica Evans, future member. Okay, I'm now going to put forth a motion to add to the agenda an executive session to take place after the new business of welcoming the new future OTAC members.
Miss Ingrid,
Yes.
I would observe that if we take it in that order, we would be asking our new members who are yet sworn in to wait in the side room while we go and do the executive session business. It might be more polite to the public and to our new members to just do it at the end of all of the public business.
I like it. Okay. We are changing this motion to add the executive session to the agenda at the end of the currently written agenda. Could I get a second for that?
I'll second it, Amy Lyra dear.
Okay. Any public comment? All in favor of adding the executive session to the agenda, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, well, the executive session will be added to the agenda. All right, the next thing we're going to do then is looking at the minutes from our last meeting. Let's see. Could you scroll down, I guess, maybe us, whoever has the minutes from last time should be on here, I think. Yes, you can keep going. Just sort of trying to remind everybody of what we did. We talked about some parts of the published rules that didn't make it into what's published. And some of it was because it was referring to AOTA documents, which is something that can't be included in the code. We talked about that. We clarified a practitioner question. You can keep going. Got an update from Dr. Collada about the temporary permits, still waiting on that. And the OT compact still evolving. And then after that, we voted on new members. You can keep going, and that looks like that was the whole meeting. Can I get somebody to motion to accept the minutes?
This is Raylene. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as stands.
And I'll second it, Amy.
All right, great. All in favor of accepting the minutes, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the minutes have been accepted. All right, well, the first thing I wanted to do was welcome our new members. And I'm hearing now they'll be sworn in January. But maybe each new member just introduce themselves and talk a little bit about their what part of the state you live in, and a little bit about your work experience. So we'll just go ahead and start with, hold on. I'll just go in line as I see them here on Zoom. Okay, that means the first person would be Colin Hernandez.
Thanks, Ingrid. Hi, everybody. It's nice to meet everyone and see some faces. My name is Colin Hernandez. I actually live out in Sanibel, which is sort of smack right in between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. I graduated from LSU Health Science Center in 2020. Since then, most of my work has been in neuro. I've done outpatient and inpatient neuro. Now I am a consultant for the Office for Citizens with Developmental Disabilities, working in home modifications and equipment. So that's kind of what I've been doing for the last, I'd say, almost 3 years now. And so I'm happy to be a part of OTAC and hopefully can share some experiences that I've had.
Thank you, Colin. All right, next is Whitney.
Hey, I'm Whitney Roden. So I was a CODA for 10 years and then did the bridge at ULM and have now been an OT for 4 years. Live in Bossier City, and I currently work for a contract therapy company doing home health 2 hospitals, rural hospitals, and 2 rural outpatient clinics. So most of my experience is in home health, but I have dabbled in a little bit of everything.
What part did you say? What part of the state you're in, Whitney? If you did, I missed it.
Bossier City.
Bossier City, you did say that. I love that you've also got experience as a CODA. Kathleen is a CODA, Kathleen Norcross. But I think that voice is really important. I know you're not a CODA anymore, but you know, you were for 10 years, so you're gonna have some experiences that you can bring to this too. So,
Yes,
and plus the rural work too.
Yes, I definitely think it has been helpful being a CODA prior to being an OT.
Nice. All right, next is Lawenica Evans. Let's see, Lawenica, you have to unmute yourself.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
My name's Lawenica Evans. I go by Wendy. I live in Shreveport, Louisiana. I've been an OT for about 27, 28 years going on now, and I've worked a little bit of everywhere with the adult population. I've worked in home health. I've worked in skilled nursing facilities. I've done outpatient neuro settings. And currently, I am teaching at LSU Health in Shreveport. So I'm teaching the adult content courses with neuro, ortho, and OT process.
Fantastic. And I knew you had told me earlier when we met that you go by Wendy. I'm sorry, I forgot that.
Oh, no problem. No problem. It's a little easier to pronounce.
I like both names, and I like your accent.
Oh, thank you. It's more
all
North
right.
Louisiana versus East Texas.
Oh, that what it is, Texas. All right, April Payton.
Hi, I'm April Payton. I've been an OT for 10 years. Excuse the setting that I'm in. I'm actually currently on a field trip I own a clinic for kiddos with autism. So I'm outside attending this meeting, but I have also dabbled in a lot of different fields within my time as an OT. I started out as in a nursing home, went to home health, did a little bit of outpatient hand therapy, some early steps, school system, and now I own my own clinic. It's a clinic for kids with autism. We do ABA, OT, and speech therapy.
Fantastic. And also, I think that being a small business owner, that voice is going to be really nice one to have on OTAC.
Yeah,
so
I'm
welcome.
Consultant too. So another little side thing.
Which other is your side thing? I'm sorry. What other?
Lactation consultant.
Lactation. That's so cool. You've got it. April, what have you not done, including hands and outpatients? Well, welcome to all of y'all. I hope that, you know, I'm actually going to be leaving, but I hope that your time is good on OTAC, and I know it sounds like each of y'all have a lot of unique insights to bring. So I'm glad you're here. I saw that the tracking document on the cloud didn't have anything on it. Is there anything that has come in, I guess, to LSBME? Any questions from practitioners that maybe we would want to know about? Any questions about the rules that have been coming in?
There are, Ingrid, and I'm just going to apologize up front. As you know, our beautiful, lovely, talented rock star Lauren welcomed a brand new baby boy on Halloween Day. And so I am flying solo again for the next 3 months and happy to do it so she can enjoy that time with her family. We have some new questions. I have not had time to review all of them and then add them to the database. So if you can give me the grace of one more meeting, I will have them all ready to go and review with you at the next meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any public comment before I move on to the next agenda item? Okay. next was I did want to I wanted to go over areas of, we touched on this at our last meeting. The fact that we know obviously that in our rules, we specifically took away the waiver for state employees to be able to waive getting CEUs, but that in the law, it still says that OTPs who work for the state don't have to get their CEUs. And so we know about that discrepancy. But so I went back through the law the other day and found, I guess, a lot of different things that appear outdated or might be some discrepancies, and that's what I wanted to sort of go over today. It might be easiest if I share the screen now, so that I can kind of scroll. Oh gosh, now I've got to find the right thing. I have it open. Give me a second. If it's this. No. Okay, Raylina, I can see you. Am I sharing the agenda? Are you seeing the agenda? Okay.
Yes.
All right,
Yes,
great.
we see it.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna scroll down here to the law and just sort of go over things and then find out from Patricia whether, you know, her thoughts on whether I should sort of make some edits to send for possible future correction. But let's just first go over them. Section 3006 states that oh wait, no, this is good. I'm sorry. Add that the person must pass the NBCOT exam. Okay, requirements for licensure. This says that you have to have good moral character, that you have to have completed your academic and fieldwork experiences, required to sit for the exam, but it doesn't state that you actually have to pass the exam. So that was just something that I noticed when I went through this. It doesn't actually explicitly state that you have to pass it in order to become licensed. In the next section, they do talk about in 307 about the exam for licensure. So it could be that it doesn't need to be added to 306, but I just wanted to bring it up because it kind of struck me. In this section 3007, this says an independent agency under contract with the AOTA. So actually, it doesn't need to say NBCOT because this is good enough. The agency administered by under contract with AOTA. I'm sorry, that's probably
But
fine.
is that correct, though? I don't think that AOTA is.
You're right. Is NBCOT under
Right.
contract with AOTA? They might not
No,
be.
it's a totally separate. I think a long time ago, AOTA used to administer or have something to do with that, but now it's a completely separate entity since it's a professional organization. It's not the same. So I don't think it needs to say AOTA. It should say NBCOT.
I think you're right. Yeah. They are completely separate and NBCOT is not under contract with AOTA. So yeah, my original concern is, I think, correct, that everything having to do with examination for licensure 3007A, B repeats it, and then C repeats it. Those need to be changed to the National Board for Certification of Occupational Therapy.
Yeah, and it's in 3008 as well.
Yeah. Then I had a question about 3008D, which had to do with occupational therapy practitioners who are from another country. Currently, the law says that the board will waive the examination and grant a license to any
No, ma'am, it
person.
doesn't say will, it says may.
No, it does. It does say shall. The board shall.
Well, wait a minute, then I'm
Waive.
looking at a different set of law and rules. It says here, the law says to, in my copy, the board may waive the examination and grant a license to any applicant who prevents current licensure. You're talking about B, you know, what you said, right?
3008D, specifically about people from another country. And I downloaded this law from the website.
Okay.
So
Cool.
this is what I downloaded from the website, and it says shall.
Well, again, C says shall, B says may on my copy, which is, I think, the most current copy that is from 2024, 5/23/24.
Well, yeah, this says, then the most recent law is not uploaded on the website. That's all I can say then.
Tracy will fix that for us. Don't worry, I
Okay.
apologize. That we didn't know it.
I'm glad it says May. That makes me happy. So let's assume this it does say May, and who is a graduate of a member nation of the WFOT. But I had in our rules, and I should have had this pulled up, but I don't.
Okay, well, wait, then we really are talking about a problem here because it doesn't say WFOT and B 308B in the 2024 version, okay?
Oh, it doesn't say that either?
No. Let me read the text, or if you want me to display it, I'll be happy to. It says the
Yeah.
board may waive the examination and grant a license to any applicant who presents proof of current licensure as an occupational therapist in another state, the District of Columbia, or a territory of the United States, which requires standards for licensure considered by the board to be equivalent to the requirements for licensure of this chapter, provided that such state, district, or license accords similar privileges of licensure without examination to holders of a license. So this is a reciprocity statement. And again, we kind of very cautious with that. That's why it needs to be a may, and that's what the current version of 308B says. And now what, Ms. Wilton, do you have any newer than 5/23/24 version of the law?
I don't, and I can't imagine that there is a newer version, but I will go back after this meeting and just double check. And then I will distribute to everyone and confer with Tracy to make sure that the most current version of the law is what is displayed on our website.
So Dr. Van, is there anything in the law anymore about people not from another state or territory, but from another country? Because that's what this version of the law is talking
Okay,
about on letter D.
That is now paragraph D.
Uh-huh.
And I'll be happy to show it to you if you want me to show it to you.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing so you can show us the updated. Let me see if I can figure out. Find my stop
hit
share.
stop.
Stop share. There we go. Okay, you should be able to share now.
All right, let me get it up for you. Just give me a minute. I brought it on a different screen, so we'll put it where it'll be isolated and everybody can see it. Okay, so if you can see my highlighted area, this is now chapter D, and I think you do want to change that to may instead of shall. But it's up to y'all.
Yeah, so actually letter D is basically saying what that says the same thing. The
Right.
board shall waive and talking about WFOT. And that conflicts, I'm pretty sure, with what we just
Right, you're correct.
changed with our rules where we were relying on NBCOT
Right.
to make a determination about whether someone from another country should be able to get licensed with us.
Right?
And so I feel like this section D just no longer reflects what we put in the rules.
Well, I agree with you, and so I do think it should be changed to May, and we are going to be doing some technical changes anyways. We are opening the law up, what the plan is to do that. So I think this is the time to tell us what you want in this area. So I'm happy we're taking this exercise today. And I know I will make a note that this is going to be changed to making this a new type of language. So that's all I can do for right now. Okay,
Thank you.
so
And also the
do you want to read the
WFOT.
other C? Now this, okay. I think again, this one should be changed to May as well.
Yeah, letter C.
Letter C, current,
That's the one where in the rules, we basically removed that waiver for state
Right.
employees.
right.
And so that whole letter C, we would prefer to see basically go away.
All right, you want to delete the whole thing, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha, I'll take care of that.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad I skipped right by C. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, Dr. Van, if you could scroll down to 3009B.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
that again is another spot where it says AOTA in terms of and that also has to be changed to the NBCOT. That's another place where that needs to change.
And the WFOT in 3008D.
3008D really needs to change a lot.
Yeah, it does.
I might, because that doesn't match what we did with our rules at all, because we
Do you want to
changed that.
delete it completely? Because
No, I mean, I'd have to go back and look at what we wrote in the rules and then see what you and Patricia think about, copying those. But we definitely did write some language in the rules about foreign trained therapists. And it had nothing to do with WFOT and had everything to do with NBCOT. So I'll send that to y'all. That definitely, that D needs to change a good bit.
okay, got a note and we'll move on.
Okay, so yeah, 3009B, again, that's another place where we need to change that from AOTA to NBCOT.
Got it.
That one's about who is giving the certification. And then 3009E, it says that's the one you're already aware of. That's the one that says the board shall provide a temporary license.
With your changes, you're adding to our changes. That was really the only issue. We were going to change this from shall to may.
But that's what made me say what I need to make sure there's nothing. If y'all are going to kind of like open up the law to change that, what else needs to be.
I think this is a great exercise. Let's continue.
Okay, the next was 3012B3. And this is another repetition of, it says the continuing education requirements shall not apply to individuals working as OTs in state facilities or employed by a state agency. And again, we would want that completely removed. Because in our rules, we took away that waiver.
Right. And the discussion from last time, and please understand, it's been a very, very busy month since the last time we all spoke for Dr. Collada and myself. But that's when I suggested that there be at least a discussion with LDH from the standpoint of, that's really that you know, that's really something we would want to make sure that they don't have an objection to if there's some reason why they don't want state workers, you know, to have to abide by that. I think you make a very cogent argument for the fact that they should, but just before we roll up in there trying to change something that directly affects their, you know, their state employees, I felt like we should have that conversation with them to to make sure they didn't have some really important objection why they think those employees should be exempt.
Okay. So that conversation hasn't had an opportunity.
It has not. It has been an extremely busy month since the last time we spoke. Dr. Van and myself have both had some commitments out of state, some compact issues with other disciplines, and so haven't had time to have that discussion yet.
Okay. The last thing was just the fees. The fees are still listed and probably out of date, so I guess I just wanted to point out that I don't know whether fees are required to be in the law, or if not, it feels like they should just get removed because those could change at any time.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have to go through the legislature to change fees. So that is something that we've had on our radar, frankly, for all disciplines. And it could not make it to the top of the legislative priorities for legislative people, if you will, or the LDH or the governor's office last session. And we're hoping to revisit some of that this session.
Well, I mean, I wish our renewal was still only $25, but that's from a long time ago.
Well, we'll go ahead and talk about what we can do with LDH, because that's going to be their call.
I thought we took those fees out when we did that.
We did in the rules, but this is the law.
The rules can say one thing, but the law, we cannot change fees without the law. Somehow the fees got changed and they didn't change the law, and we'll have to figure out how that happened, but nonetheless, we'll take care of it, figuring out how to fix it.
Okay.
And also in the next section, I don't have it pulled up to compare, but you know how in the rules we have what you can use as your like LOTR or OT or COTA. Are those the same?
Okay. What do you mean?
At the very end, in 330, I'm sorry, I'm trying to look at it on my phone. 3014, the false representation of licensure, and it just says how you can sign your name, use the letters OT, LOT, OTA, LOTA. And we had made specific changes in the rules, and I just wanted to make sure that those were
We'll do
same.
that. We'll look at that.
Okay.
Patricia and I will look at that and make that conform.
Okay.
So that's all I had with going through the law. Is there any public comment?
No public comments at this time.
Okay. Well, the next thing on the agenda then is for you, Dr. Van, to update us on anything regarding the OT Compact Commission, anything new?
Yes. Okay. The OT Compact Commission had a meeting in which I attended, and they proposed a rule to state that if the state of origin did not do criminal background checks and it was legally impossible to do a background check, the new state issuing the permission could not do a criminal background check. That violates Louisiana law, and I asked the board to consider it, the commission to consider it. It was a vigorous and reasonable debate. It failed 14-13, and several states felt the same way, but they did not choose to change it. And then we had later on in the discussion an issue of people that moved from their original state to a new state, and that new state would also be prohibited from doing a criminal background check. And that failed. And so I think a lot of what's going on is in essence, people are just beginning to realize that the compact is making rules that their state legislatures are not going to support. They're pressing on, and I cannot tell you what ultimately is going to happen because the difficulty is clearly one of the way the law is written. They have the right to make these rule changes, and it is binding upon the state that signed the compact. I can tell you, and I'll be happy to share with anybody that wants it, similar language to the compact law for OTs was in the dietary compact, and the governor vetoed that bill last session. And unfortunately, when that happened, the people that do all these compacts were kind of taken aback, and they didn't know about it. And I explained to them why it happened. And I think they understand why Louisiana opposed that as part of the compact commission. But again, I think this is all evolutionary, and they're trying very hard. Now, we have proceeded, I want to make it perfectly clear, we are proceeding under the assumption that this will continue, and we are working closely and actually kind of driving the train to protect your privacy. And so we are not going to upload all of the data that they wanted initially, and they've changed the rules to allow that. They originally wanted the Board of Medical Examiners to upload all of your demographic and data to them, and they would just keep it. And that violates some of the state laws. And I explained to them that we could only do it as an individual. We couldn't send anything, a group text, a group database or anything like that, spreadsheet. It had social security numbers and things like that. And they all understood. And so we've been working with them and are driving the issue toward what we call an API. And I think we're still committed to this, but it remains to be seen what's going to happen. I think that's the best way for me to say it. Miss Patricia, if you think I missed anything, please tell me.
No, that's absolutely correct. Not to put too fine a point on it or get too deep in the weeds, what the most recent compact adventures have done is use a very broad, sweeping language that basically binds states who join compacts, these new type of compacts, to a blank check, if you will, for the commissioners, ultimately the commissioners of the compact, to fill in all the details of how it's actually going to work. And I've been using the term bait and switch because none of that was disclosed, none of the intentions, none of that was disclosed to any of the states that signed the compact as it was. And the broad sweeping language basically leaves states with a choice of totally subjugate their state law for public protection to the the handful of people in the compact from other states who decide to vote a different way. And that is becoming more and more untenable in our view. And so there are going to have to be some serious discussions both about existing compacts and our state's participation in them, and also whether or not the state is going to be willing in the future to join any compacts whose rules have not been set forth. Or whose rules will not contain language allowing states to maintain some control over public safety in their own state. But that's the current philosophical problem that we're facing at this moment. And as Dr. Carlotta mentioned, he was originally the lone voice in the wilderness, but thankfully he is making some of these somewhat less involved or unaware commissioners and states to know exactly what's been happening behind the scenes. And it's an important thing. Now, we all know that none of us write the law, and it will ultimately be up to the legislature to determine what becomes of this compact or any future compact. But it is a very big problem in our view, because there's zero transparency. And I really don't think, I think some of our more conservative legislators and now our conservative governor would not just blithely hand over our state's right to protect the public in the name of a compact, which we are huge fans of compacts. We believe in them. They do good things. We want them, but not at the price of our state's obligation to protect our own citizens and the public.
All right. Wow. That was a really good explanation. Thank you both. It just
appreciate that.
surprises me that any state would have a problem with a criminal background check of somebody before giving a license for a healthcare practitioner.
Yeah.
It
Well-
feels like a low bar to have to pass.
Well, some of them, in fairness, some of them are being prevented by the FBI because their statutory language is not sufficient to pass muster, according to the federal government, for the right to do them. And that's what the Federal Share Act is supposed to take care of if and when it would ever get passed. So in fairness to those states who would like to be able to do them, but currently cannot, I won't cast everyone with the same brush who says they wouldn't do it even if they could. But there are some states who are precluded from doing it. But the compact organizers are so desirous of having as many people as they can in the compact that they're actually currently waiving compliance with that rule in the compact and saying that, well, since it's a legal impossibility for those few states to do it, we're not going to penalize them. And we're fine with that too. But we should have the right to do our own if any other particular state is unable to do so.
Yeah, I see it. I hear you. Okay. Thank you. Wow. And thank you, Dr. Van, for pushing through like what really feels like common sense stuff. I'm happy to hear that it does sound like they did agree about not taking everybody's data, but just the data of those who actually want a compact license. So thank you for your work on that.
Well, it's been a challenge and it's interesting for me. And I think that Patricia and I beat our heads against the wall sometimes. But the good news is I think it's moving along. I think the bigger issue is how will the state approach this? And I'm not getting in the middle of that at all. They're going to make that decision, not us. Because from our perspective, we have not had a lot of fee increases. And if I can grow volume, I can offset a lot of cost effectiveness by increasing volume. So again, that's the kind of stuff that I look at.
Yeah.
And again, the governor's going to make ultimate decisions about those and or his staff, and we're going to just, like everything else, they're going to change the law and we're going to enforce whatever they do.
Dr. Van, could you stop the share so I can put the agenda back up?
I can do it for you.
Okay, thanks.
Let's go back to the top of the agenda.
I think we're at the part about revision. Yeah, we're right there. That's exactly it. Timeline. I wanted to bring up about the timeline of the next rules update. Just for everyone's knowledge, in our rules, we stated that the rules would be looked at in totality by OTAC every 3 years. So we completed and submitted our rules changes to LSBME Legal Counsel in April of 2024. Now, they did not go into effect until a year later in 2025, but we completed our review and submitted them in April of 2024. So going by that time frame, the next round of revisions would want to be submitted to kind of finished by April of 2027. And so probably by, the fall of 2026, OTAC would want to start looking at any areas, again, that practitioners have been complaining or that are unclear. And a couple things that I feel like we've already noticed just for future, I wanted to bring up about the ethics course. When we wrote the new rules about requiring an ethics course, I will have to say that I don't think that the OTAC members, including myself, that we did enough research about that. I think we all assumed that AOTA would have a bunch of ethics courses to choose from, that NBCOT would have ethics courses, that LOTA said they were going to create one. Well, then in reality, the LOTA never has created an ethics course. NBCOT, as it turns out, does not offer an ethics course. And I don't know if any of y'all have renewed your license and done this, but when I went to AOTA, I was shocked at the lack of offerings on that. We require only 1 credit hour, but AOTA's major course is 3 credit hours, so it's more than anybody really needs. There were 1 or 2 others for some specific areas, like I think there was one for early intervention or something, an ethics course, if I recall. But there just really weren't that many that were being provided by those 3 entities. Other ethics courses exist and who are AOTA providers of continuing ed, and those are acceptable too. But it just made me wonder if we acted too rashly on that one, that if we're requiring everyone to take the rules course every year so that they know the rules that are guiding practice of OT in Louisiana, I mean, do we really also need an ethics course every year?
Ingrid, I would tell you that in lieu of a rule change to address that procedurally, we could get the board to simply say procedurally, we would recognize the Louisiana Law and Rules course in fulfillment of the ethics requirement until such time that you change the rules.
That we would recognize
the Louisiana Law and Rules course that we give that costs you all nothing.
Right, yes.
That
As an
in
example,
lieu of
that
the
one,
ethics course.
right. That's an example of one that, like, all state employees have to take the Louisiana ethics course, but that one wouldn't even technically, according to our rules, that one wouldn't even work. So, yeah.
Is it possible for us to make a short ethics quiz course, something like we did for the rules?
Well, no, that took a lot of work.
Oh, it did.
First of all, I don't know that we have the expertise, quite frankly. I think that the law and rules are basically ethical practices, but they're not truly the ethics of your profession. I think the key here is if you think that there's not available courses, we need to ultimately change it. But until such time that we change it, we can say everybody can comply with that requirement by basically you need to make a motion. I'll bring it to the board. It shouldn't have any trouble passing, that we would simply recognize you would have to take the law and rules course every year or as often as we did the ethics requirement. And I think the key for us is that's a procedural difference that the board approves in lieu of a rule change. I think we'll be fine with that. And if I'm saying it wrong, Ms. Patricia, let me know. But I think that's the way to go for the short term.
So, Dr. Van, what you're saying short term is to allow the ethics course that the state of Louisiana creates every year?
No, the law and rules course that you are already taking will fulfill the requirement for the ethics course.
I see.
Until you have an ethics course that we can go to on a regular basis.
I would be okay with that, but I don't know if the other OTAC members would want to take that under consideration for longer. But personally, my own personal feeling is that it feels like the ethics course feels unnecessary every year. But the other members might like the idea of an ethics course every year. But what Dr. Van is saying is because it's not that easy to find ethics courses given by the AOTA, or there aren't that many options, that we could temporarily say that as long as you take in the rules course, that will suffice for the ethics course until we change it, until there's more options or we change the rules. I don't know. What do other people think? What do y'all think about the ethics course?
This is Kim. I just took one on OTCUs. It did take me a little bit of time to find one because I too looked under LOTA, AOTA, nothing. It just was so very basic. I don't know. I kind of agree with the laws and rules. Course should suffice for your requirements until something's created.
Thank you.
I agree. I know several of my staff had difficulty finding a good ethics course. So, I mean, I think it's more of a hassle than it is a benefit. And if we could let the rules course suffice for right now, I'm in agreement.
Okay.
Also, really quick, in having just done my licensure renewal, I did find an excellent rules course in occupationaltherapy.com that was awesome, but converting it into the ethics category on CE Broker was absolutely awful. I had to contact them directly. That took several rounds of communication to get that cleared up. And it was way more time consuming and way more labor intensive to get my ethics course, which was a approved ethics course, to be filed under the ethics requirement category on CE Broker. So it kept telling me I didn't meet the requirements and I couldn't renew. So it was a lot more labor intensive than I think we had ever anticipated, and a trouble.
Susie Allen is working with CE Broker on that. She's kind of CC'd me on a lot of conversations she's been having with CE Broker. And I think she is going to ultimately get that fixed, but I'm sorry that you were one of the ones where
It just made me freak out because it pushes me closer to the wire. I don't like being close to any wire whatsoever when it comes to deadlines, especially my licensure. So it was a mess. And my whole department, all my OTs here at the VA were like freaking out about it because they're anticipating it too. So it's just been a lot of kinks that we need to iron out before we can launch it.
So if the advisory committee makes a motion today and it passes, that until further notice, we will temporarily allow the law and rules course that we publish that you can take for free to meet the ethics requirement. I'll bring that to the board at the December meeting and we can operationalize that very shortly after the December meeting.
I like the idea. I'm going to put forth a motion to allow the law and rules course to suffice for the ethics course. Is anybody want to second that motion?
I will, Kim.
Okay. I'm now going to go down each person's name and ask you to vote either yes, that you agree. A yes vote would be that you agree that the law and rules course should be able to suffice for the ethics course. And a vote no would mean that you want to keep both an ethics course and the rules course. Okay, let me see who's up here first. All right, Raylena.
Yes, I'm in agreement.
Okay. Mary.
Yes.
Kim.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
and myself also yes. I think that was everybody.
Ingrid, you didn't say me, so yes, Kathleen.
Kathleen, I didn't get to you yet. Yep, I was still clicking through. I got you there. Yes, all right. Okay, so the motion has passed, and we will ask Dr. Van to bring that to the board to allow the rules and law course to suffice for the ethics course. Is there anything else I need to do about that, Patricia, in terms of legals, or did we finish that?
You are all good.
Okay. I'm just gonna sort of list other areas that I think OTAC may want to look at in 2026. One was it feels like there's a gray area in our rules about when somebody has been expired, their license has been expired greater than 2 months, but less than 2 years. And what should be done about that. And also just on the radar that the AOTA, they had created some draft guidance about reentry into practice for someone who's been out of practice and unlicensed for 2 years or more. And we went over that at a couple of meetings ago, and that should just kind of be on the radar, I think, for when they finalize that. And it might be something that OTAC wants to use for when we get these folks who have been out of practice for a long time and have not been keeping up with their license. The OT and OTA responsibilities for updating the treatment plan. The way we've got the rules written is it does not state that the occupational therapist must actually treat the client on any schedule. We do have minimum standards about when the OT and the OTA need to meet. We said a minimum monthly, but more often if the patient needs it more often. But we don't have anything about whether the occupational therapist must treat the client on any type of schedule. And we used to have it as a 6th visit, and we took it out entirely. I think that has caused a little bit of confusion and maybe some concern. So I kind of feel like that maybe would also be on the radar for future discussion with OTAC. Any public comment?
No public comment at this time, but Miss Ingrid, I would like to tell you that Ms. Aloma and Ms. Patricia and I have met on this issue of your specific renewal issue. And when we looked at this in Globo for our entire agency, we began to see that there was a hodgepodge of different ways to do it. Number one. Number two, many of them were written 35, 40 years ago, and we didn't have the ability to update things. We know medicine changes so fast, and all of the things are changing so fast. We didn't reflect it. So we are putting together across the board change that will be uniform, because with uniformity, we get efficiency in the agency. So we will bring this back to you probably at the next meeting, but it's going to be a much shorter time frame. And we're going to start with renewal, late renewal, reinstatement, and reapplication, and we're going to get the parameters when those occur.
Okay, great. That sounds terrific.
I thank Ms. Aloma for, even though she's not here, for calling it to my attention, and we're going to work together to make it a system-wide change for our agency.
All right. I'm just writing that down. Okay. Our next item on the agenda is talking about meeting frequency for 2026. Personally, I feel like that every other month has been working, but I'd like to hear from others. And
I think
anybody?
that every other month as well works.
Yes.
I agree.
Um,
think- Well,
Dr. Van or Patricia, what about y'all? From your point of view, is the every other month been meeting the needs?
It works for us if it works for you.
Okay. Since we're no longer, deeply revising rules, I don't think we need to go back to every month. So, and then but I also think that every other month can make us more responsive than the quarterly that it used to be in terms of issues that come up with OTPs. So I guess I will go ahead then and work with Jacinta on the meeting dates for 2026 with starting in January and every other month. And I'm assuming, Dr. Van, that you want to continue with Fridays at 10 as
Works
the best
for
time
us.
that you're able to be on.
Works for us. If everybody's comfortable with that, we'll continue to do it.
Okay, so we'll do. All right, our next agenda item is really about a leadership plan. Now that, essentially, this is my last meeting, and we need a chair starting January 1st, or co-chairs that, like what Darby and I did, a person that Dr. Van can sort of be and Patricia can be mainly in contact with. I haven't heard from anybody. I sent an email to Patricia the other day saying, what happens if nobody becomes the chair? But I didn't hear back from you, Patricia, on that one. I don't know if it's ever come up before.
It really hasn't. Usually somebody will finally blink and say they're willing to do it with the understanding, of course, that you have Dr. Van and myself and our incredible staff to assist. It's really just a question of who would like to be the leader at this moment, or starting in January, to guide the meetings and uh, to be the contact person for your committee. So if anybody's interested in volunteering, or if somebody wants to make a motion to nominate somebody and let them accept or decline, however you choose to handle it.
but it needs to be somebody that's been on the,
No, because the new members will be sworn in at that time.
Mhm.
It can be someone who will be an active member at that time. That's strictly up to you all.
Who's not rolling off besides me?
Carolyn, Mary, Glenn, Kathleen, Raylene. Did I say Kim? I didn't say, I said Glenn Wallace, not.
Right.
All right, Carolyn, Mary, Glenn, Kathleen, and Raylene.
Yeah, and let me just say this, Ingrid, for everybody that's listening. I'm in the MOT program right now. I can't take any more than I have on my plate right now. So that is not a position I can stand up to right now because I have mom and work and school, and it's too much. I couldn't handle any more than I already take on.
Yeah. Well, Kathleen, congratulations. You're doing the program at ULM?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. That's great. Okay. We've now that we know that the new members could also do this. It might be also kind of interesting if we had like maybe a new member and a current member who were co-chairs.
And please don't think anyone's going to think you're overstepping or whatever. I mean, if you have an interest in doing it, please don't hesitate to step up.
Y'all are killing me.
Crickets, right?
Y'all are
I
killing
do
me.
think it would be great if it was two people, but I think it's a lot of work if it's one, but I think two would be wonderful.
Wendy being in higher education, it's kind of it is a good fit. Could we ask you to be a co-chair? Wendy, you still on?
Sorry, I'm trying to get unmuted. Yeah, I would co-chair with someone with some experience to help guide.
Very good. So, Mary, Raylena, would either of y'all, Carolyn, be willing to co-chair with Wendy?
I can do it. I have a lot of reservations. But and it's just the legal side of things. Like I'm the process and things like that. But if there are people that are willing to help, then
Absolutely. We could talk you through all of that anytime, day or night. We can meet with you after the holidays, before the next meeting, and just it seems more intimidating than it is, I promise you. We will guide you every step of the way.
and how long is this term for clarification?
You
Or is it
could,
until I age out?
no, you would not have to, there's nothing in the rules about the term
Okay.
for the co-chairs. So I would say that a year from now, if you would rather step down as the co-chair, then somebody else could step in. There's nothing in the rules about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think you do a great job. I was actually thinking you would be a great one to do it.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you.
I really do. I'm not just saying that because I don't want to. I think you'd be great at it.
Great. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
So yes, put my name down.
Raylena
Oh,
and
that's
Wendy.
wonderful. Thank you
The
so
co-chair
much.
team, fantastic, super team.
So like I said, after the holidays, we'll get together a time that works for you all to just talk through everything. And so y'all can get your plans straight, how you want to handle things, and then also answer all your questions just procedurally. It's not hard. It really isn't. It seems intimidating, but it's not.
And so is Glenn still holding on as
I think it would
secretary?
I think it would be better if between the two of you that y'all kind of
Okay.
talk about one of you taking minutes.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
And I'll communicate that to Glenn. So the last thing we have is to go into executive session. So just before doing that, I just want to thank Kelly Brandon, Kim Solari, 6 years on OTAC, and thank you guys so much for everything, and to Amy Larvier for the last, I believe, 3 years, Amy. And it's
I've
been
actually been 5.
5. It's been 5. There you go. Thank you. And it has been an honor to be the co-chair and the chair, and meet all of y'all and work with you guys. And I wish OTAC all the best for the future. I think we've got a lot done. I'm proud of what we've done, and I hope you guys are too. And I've been happy to have met every OTs from around the state through this position.
We appreciate you.
Yes, thank you, Ingrid. We could not have done this without you.
Yes.
You
Thank
did
you.
an amazing and a great
job.
leader. God, thank you.
Thanks, y'all. So I'm going to find someone to, I'll make the motion to go into executive session. Could somebody second that?
Kathleen, second that.
Okay. All in favor of going into executive a session? And by the way, I'm sorry for the new folks, when we go into executive session, like Dr. Van was saying earlier, it means that you'll just be waiting around. If you want to choose to leave the meeting, when we get out of executive session, literally the only thing we're going to do is adjourn. So it's up to you whether you want to stay for the adjourning or not, but you'll be in a different waiting room than the rest of us. Okay, so I made the motion to go into executive session. Kathleen seconded. All in favor of going into executive session, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, then we will enter executive session at 11:14 a.m.
All right, let me get that set up for you.
All right, I think we're all back. In the matter of identification number 103545, the Occupational Therapy Advisory Committee moves to grant the license without any further requirements. Can I get a second on that motion?
I'll second it, Carolyn.
And all in favor of granting the license without further requirements, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, any public comment?
There's no public comment at this time.
All right, so that has passed to grant the license without further requirement.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
If I might, I'd like to thank all of the outgoing members, especially people like Kim and Kelly, who we've always had vigorous and wonderful debates with, and we appreciate all their comments. And I look forward to all of us continuing the kind of vigorous debates we've had over these last 2 years as we change the rules. I think we've all learned from each other, and I'm very pleased. I think we're doing great work in OT, and I thank all of you all for doing it.
Thanks so much.
And
It's
I
been a
might
pleasure.
add for all of y'all, new and old, OTAC is the type of advisory committee that is a model for all of our other groups. And it is such a blessing and a pleasure to work with you all. I just wanted to throw that in there as well.
Thank you, Patricia.
Yes, it has been this. Thank you, Ingrid. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacinta. And thank you, to everybody at LSBME who keeps us on track and works hard for our occupational therapy in the state. So then, if we don't have any public comment, then the next meeting is not yet set. I'll send a list of probabilities to Dr. Van first, and then send them out to everybody else to make sure that those work for at least a quorum for each meeting. And other than that, our meeting is adjourned at 11:25 a.m. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.